I continued my research into religion, and I suppose at the age of 21, I was living in an area which was predominantly Pakistani area, and I would get up sometimes if I was struggling to sleep, and I'd go for a walk around the local block, and I would see them go into Fajr prayer, and I would think to myself, what drives a person to wake up and get out of bed to go to pray?
Subhanallah.
So, astaghfirullah, I had a girlfriend at the time. I asked, she knew I was interested in religions, and I said, do you want to buy me the Quran? So she bought it because I had loads of different books, and I read the Quran for the first time, and that was the first time I felt God.
You read the translation?
I read the translation. It was bought from Waterstones, local bookstore. It was the Oxford University Press, not the best easy English to understand. But that was the first translation that I read, and it had a big impact.
Yusuf Ali's translation or Paktal?
I'm not too sure which. I've read those since, but yeah, there's different translations that.
True.
Even with that translation, I felt something, and it was even from Surah Al-Fatiha when it talks about guide us to the straight path. I was curious, what is the straight path? You come out the Surah Al-Baqarah, the book which of there is no doubt. You start asking yourself, why is there no doubt? And you continue, and there were some ayahs which had a big impact on me, such as, we only created man and jinn, but to worship me. All my life, I'd been focusing on my own self, my own nafs, my desires. And for the first time, I thought about, okay, maybe about changing my perspective. And then the ayah, which talks about every soul shall taste death. Myself.
كل نفس ذائقة الموت.
SubhanAllah. So when I kept reading, and it asks you to reflect upon yourself. It asks you to reflect upon who you are as a person and where you're going. Even with that, I put the book down, and I felt the comment that someone said, what do you think of it? And I said, it was the scariest book I've ever read.
The Quran.
Yeah, because everything made sense in terms of, it made me feel close to God. It reminded me that life is fleeting. We are going to pass away, and what is going to be left but our deeds. So with that was the trying to take an avenue down a different path.
The Quran made you feel serious, maybe, for a change, about your life, about your future.
The worldly life is just amusement and play. The Quran reminded me there is a serious aspect to it. So, yeah. I started looking into the 5 pillars and 6 articles of faith, and I already knew a little bit about it because of my childhood friends. So it wasn't completely alien to me. And I rang the local masjid where I was at the time, and I said, do you mind if I come around to have a further discussion? Firstly, when I've rung mosques in the past for different reasons, they haven't always answered. So it was amazing on this occasion, the person answered. And then within half an hour, I was having a conversation with brothers there, and they were talking more about what Islam is and how the impact of it's had on their life.
Allah paved the way for you.
Yes. And on that day, they asked, do you want to become Muslim? And that was the reason I came to the mosque. I didn't want to say it on the phone because I still wanted to feel the situation out. And then when I went there, I felt comfortable. Everything was logical with what was being said. And I embraced Islam on that day. Said the Shahada. They all jumped up, gave me a hug. That evening, about 25 uncles turned up for food to congratulate me.
They celebrated you.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. If you've become welcome into the community.